Yes, yes. Hello, it's a Triple B. Thank you guys. Please hit the like now. Yeah, just to stop the haters trying to bring down the channel. Yeah, so firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been donating money. I'm going to do a big thanks and an update on what's been happening in the financial side of the Triple B. Thank you especially to my boy Fickoff, who gave me 20 big pounds on Cash App on the last live. Brother, thank you. Thank you very much. I had loads of others. My boy Shane Bongos, always giving some love in weird selection of digits. And Marquise, yeah, there's many people. We'll all be thanked soon. But we're talking about money. So we're talking about the big fight this weekend. What's the biggest fight? Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. In terms of money, it is. In terms of eyes watching it, it's going to be. A lot of people go, why you follow this Triple B? It's not real boxing. Well, it is real boxing. It's a pro fight, and it's got some interest in it. And unfortunately, this may be the future of pro boxing. Now, I think we're moving towards a world where it's all going to be kind of celebrity boxing. And I hope not. I don't think that the real-time boxing will be destroyed ever. But I think MMA will start to take over as the fighting sport in the next 10 years. If we're still around in 10 years, yeah. 2030 is coming up pretty soon. And we'll own nothing. Yeah, all the farmland's been bought up and all the property's been bought up. All the industries now are going to be owned by, it's going to be many service industries. Every company, all the companies are going to be service companies. They won't provide anything useful, any product. The only companies that will, especially the food supply, will be owned by Illuminati peeps like Bill Gates. Anyway, this is our boxing channel, as y'all know. So we got to talk about the boxing. So Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. Now, I will talk about this firstly as if it's a fair fight. And there's no, what it's saying. They haven't come together and agreed what's going to happen in the fight. Now, just a little bit of background. So, Anderson Silva, yeah, obviously, most people know him as one of the greatest MMA fighters ever. I don't say he's the GOAT, although I don't agree with that nonsense anyway. You can never decide. People will sit there wasting their energy arguing about who was the best fighter ever, who was the best. It's just stupid. You can only fight who you can at the time. And the best will always be a heavyweight because they can beat everyone else. That's it. Anyways, so Silva, yeah, very talented. I mean, I don't know, man. I do remember when he broke his leg and he wrapped it around Chris Weidman's leg. That was horrible. And Chris Weidman, the same thing happened to him. That was truly quite grotesque. I don't want I'd put any more of kicking someone in the legs. But, so Silva's actually had a bit of a background in boxing. He actually had a pro fight some years ago while he was still, MMA fighter. And he lost it. He got stopped, okay? He got stopped in his first fight by a guy called Osmar Luis Teixeira from Brazil. This guy's a puncher. Actually, 24 of his wins, his 30 wins have come by KO. At the time, he had 8 wins, 2 losses. You don't want to read too much into it, but he did get retired after the first round. And Silva was knocked down in the first round. So that wasn't great. He then beat a couple of stiffs. One stiff, and then he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in his third fight. Now, this is nuts, right? Silva is like 45. Now, Chavez Jr., we all know, he liked the Mexican meat, He wasn't that good. He's basically promoted because he was Chavez's son. He's a bit fruity, walking around in high heels and things. But, I mean, he was still a world champion and still fought at world level. It's pretty crazy that he lost to Anderson Silva at age 45. It was a decision over 8 rounds. Now, I watched that fight on the replay, and I was like, man, Chavez looks like he's barely stepped in the ring. To me, it was quite clear that he didn't train, B, he didn't try. He deliberately lost that fight. It was to me a bit of a setup, although it was a split decision. And then Silva fights Tito Ortiz, who's so shot. I mean, he can barely speak, and he was so bad. It was embarrassing. Carried him in 1 round, no problem. So there's nothing there really. I mean, he's not, and he's 46 now, crying out loud. Jake Paul, okay. Now we all know, he's had 4 knockouts, pretty spectacular ones too. Poor old Nate Robinson got flattened. Tyrone Woodley the second time. I mean, like I said, if it's a fair fight, okay. Now, I know my MMA peeps like, nah, man, Anderson like boxing, he's way too good. And this isn't an MMA fight anyway. And yes, Silva does actually have some fairly good boxing skills. He moves like a boxer. For his punches like a boxer. I know he hits that hard. But he's 46 for crying out loud. Yeah, you got your man Jake Paul's 24. Yeah, so he's half the age of Silva. And Silva can, like I say, he's been stopped once. He's also been KO'd a few times in MMA. Yeah, Anderson's been KO'd a few times. Punches by Weidman. I think Uriah Hall, if I remember. What else? Leg kick by some dude. I mean, he's been KO'd. Now, I mean, I know MMA, the smaller gloves and all that, but he's also been KO'd in one round in boxing by a journeyman who can punch by the journeyman. And I just looked. Did I say he was 46? He's 47. He's 47-year-old, bro. Come on, blood clot. 47 years old. And Paul. Well, the people say he can punch, and he has been training hard. For however long, 5 years, hard, and taking the supplements, yeah, no doubt the juices too, the special potions, but I mean, let's say it was 100% fair, yeah, there was no fix. I'd say Silva's too old. He'll eventually get caught by Paul and knocked out. That's what I'd say. Yeah, that's what I'd say. All things being fair. Now, Paul started as an underdog, only just. Yeah, it's always been about evens to fight until recently. Yeah. Silva opened up as a favourite just, and then it started to kind of stay there a bit and then changed a bit, so Paul was the slight favourite, and now suddenly Paul is a 2-1 on favourite. So things have switched a lot. And I said to my boy, I've got a friend who's MMA man, but he likes his boxing too, and I said, listen bro, if there's ever a fight that's going to be a fix, it's this one. He goes, what are you talking about? You believe in fix? I go, very rarely do they really happen, but this has got all the elements for it. I said, I've seen some, and this one is the clearest fight that should be a fix. He said, why is that, blood? I said, listen, fam. I don't talk like that with him, but, yeah. So I said, yeah, blood, listen. Yeah, listen, blood. What's going to happen? I said, Anderson's 47, and he's going to retire. He hasn't got any big money fights. I don't know how much he's getting for this. I don't know, what, 2 million? What do you think he's getting for this? You can never really believe what they say about the purses. I mean, right. So, apparently, according to TotalSports.com, okay, the guaranteed purse of Anderson Silva is $500,000, plus 35% of pay-per-view revenue. Now, I'm assuming that means the profit from the pay-per-view, or does that mean just a straight 35% of the total pay-per-view money? I can't believe, because Paul would take 65%. That would mean like the TV companies would get 9%. That's got to be a percentage of profit after the TV have taken the money or something like that. These things are never reported properly. But I'm guessing here intuitively, Silva would take $2 million off of this. Yeah, $2 million off of this, which will be his biggest single payday. Because the MMA guys, UFC, don't get paid much, bro. He made like $8 million his whole career, of MMA, Anderson. So this will be his biggest payday, and he's 47. This is his last chance to make any kind of money. Any kind of money, yeah. He might have made $500,000 if he's Chavez, right? But the window's closing. He's 47, and you know what? This will be his biggest payday. Of course he's, of course he's going to do what he's told. Okay. Of course he's going to do what he's told, And I said, look, what's going to happen? That we sit down and Jake Paul will go, listen, brother, listen, Anderson, we can fight. Or Paul's advisors will say, look, you can fight Jake Paul, but you can fight anyone. Everyone knows that if they get Jake Paul, they get a good payday. Everyone's dying to fight him. Even world champion boxers like Maurice Bradis. Okay? Andrew Tate, everyone's lining up to fight Jake Paul. Because they know to get a good payday. And Anderson will never get another chance to get paid like this. So and they'll sit him down and be like, listen, Anderson, how would you like to fight Jake Paul? Sure. How many millions will I get? Don't worry about that. You'll get paid. But you have to understand, you cannot knock him out. Okay? All right. And we don't want you to win. Okay? Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what we're saying here? Yeah. What? You mean you don't want me to try? We didn't say don't try. We just say don't knock him out and don't win. Something like that. Be one of those kind of conversations. And, and of course Anderson's going to take it, He'll be like, well, you know what? And I say, look, just don't go knock him out. Now, what Anderson won't know is that Jake Paul is allowed to try and knock out Silva, and he will try and knock him out, and I think he will knock him out. But Anderson will be thinking, okay, we'll be like an exhibition, we'll be sparring, and I won't hurt him, but I'll still make sure I come out looking all right. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take my $2 million. So what if I have a loss? Yeah, and Paul will come in trying to bang out Anderson, and he probably will because of his chin and his age. Anderson's chin isn't that solid, and at 47, it can't be that solid, So I believe that if it's fair, Jake Paul would knock him out anyway. Yeah, he would catch him because he can punch, and Silva is 47. But and I believe that this is what will happen. But any chance of Anderson winning is out the window. The odds have dropped heavily because people have obviously clicked. And then there's this little clip. Watch this clip.
No, if you win, I will fight you in an MMA fight.
Whoa! You're so smart because I don't fight MMA anymore. You're so smart!
Kickboxing.
I got you.
Kickboxing.
Okay. Kickboxing, all right.
Kickboxing. But if I win, me and you come together to create a United Fighters Association to help UFC fighters get better pay and better health care. You become the interim president, and we unite to help these fighters once and for all.
Deal.
Let's go.
I mean, come on. It's a pathetic piece of theatre. Yeah. I'll fight you in MMA if you win, which is a bit weird. You'd think he'd say, well, if I win, I'll still fight you in MMA. But no, I fight Anderson in MMA if you win. Even though he would have already beaten up Jake in his chosen sport. But then he's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm a kickboxing, whatever. Anyway, it's not going to happen, right? And then Paul goes, yeah, but if I win, we join together to build an organization called the United Fighters Association to help the UFC fighters get better pay and better healthcare. Yeah, I agree, says Anderson Silva without thinking, and they jump up and hug. I mean, it's pathetic, really, isn't it? Pathetic piece of WWE theatre. But, I mean, so there we go. That's obvious. Jake Paul's going to win. Okay, because he could be trolling slightly, but Paul basically, for some reason, he don't like Dana White, and they've been having it together for a long time, and he's been saying Dana White don't pay his fight as well, which is true. It's pathetic what UFC guys earn for the amount of money they make that organization, and the top of their sport, if you consider MMA a sport. I mean, to me, it's just fighting, bro. So yeah. I mean, you could say, oh, well, maybe he's just trolling Dana White with that thing. But no, I mean, to me, it's quite obvious. Jake Paul will win. There's a part of me that thinks, well, they're very buddy friendly. Maybe Jake Paul will agree not to knock out Anderson. But I don't know, man. I think he's vicious enough to do it, even if they agree. Oh, I'm sorry, it was an accident, Silva. Sorry I knocked you out. There wasn't, and to be honest, there was never an agreement that I couldn't knock you out. It was just that you could knock me out. Yeah, so there we go. That's what's going to happen. I believe Paul will still knock him out, but he would most definitely win. Okay, and then will they do this little fighters association with Anderson Silva as the president? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't quite know. Because UFC is its own separate organization. I don't know how they're going to have any influence on what happens in the UFC. Maybe not, but maybe he will just use it to troll Dana White. And maybe Anderson Silva is annoyed at Dana White for not paying him well, so he's going to be in on it. I don't know, but that's the only interesting part of it. Yeah, it's going to be a setup with Paul to win. Anyway, I've spoken enough about this shit.